program. So a very warm welcome for today's panel discussion. So I'm Sangeeta Day. I'm associated with TeamLease EdTech as a regional manager West. And I'll be moderating for this panel discussion for today. So here, as you know, that today's topic is 47% organizations in India, they are keen to hire freshers. So are our students job ready? So that will be the topic for today's discussion. Yeah. So now when we have decided to organize these sessions, to organize this panel discussion. So basically we did some survey with the help of our Career Outlook report. We came to understand that nearly about 1.25 million workforce who are aged between 18 to 29 years. Every month they are about to join our employment for India. As there is a gap, there is a huge gap between demand and supply. And we believe that that gap is only the skill gap. So now when we have realized that India is facing a situation where there is a scarcity of highly skilled employment, as well as there are, you can say, unemployment of a large section of youth who are educated conventionally. So now for this today's discussion, how to address this situation, how should students upgrade themselves and scale up with this ever evolving technological world. So for this, I would love to introduce all of you though. So Gopinath sir, I have gone through your profile and I believe you have a rich experience of 40 years in this industry, in this education management industry. You are the director of the MBA for East Point College of Engineering. Yeah. And then professor and dean of Department of Management Studies at HKBK College of Engineering also. And currently you are serving as a director for the Sindhi Institute of Management. Correct. Correct. Okay. And you have written 2 books also on accountancy and cost accountancy for VTO MBA program. Great. So very well and welcome to you, sir, in this session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to add anything in terms of your profile or anything which I have missed?
Nothing much, 40 years of service, 41st year of running actually.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of students of various kinds and, let me tell you something which many people will definitely agree. There's a controversy happening nowadays, which was shown on Times Now and our, Republic channel yesterday. Okay, all pretty much running in Bangalore channels. Okay, about the languages. And over the years, what I have seen, including my teaching career for quite some time in Jain institutions, plus MBA Jain, okay, between, 14 and 16, okay, 2014 and 2016 is,
okay,
students are very comfortable in understanding any subject in their mother tongue or in the language that they understand, not necessarily English, not that they don't know English. But if anyone can touch their heart with the language that they understand better, their understanding goes much smoother. So the way I looked at it was, when I was teaching in Jain, I would definitely like to speak in Hindi for those students who understood either taxation or cost accounts or mergers acquisitions more comfortably in Hindi, if you relate to them, than necessarily in English. English was a part of it that they would go.
Right.
But
so
they would never have heard their local language being spoken up.
Right.
Okay, when they were there in Bangalore.
Right. So language should not
be. So if somebody can relate, yes, it goes very comfortable. In a similar mold, okay, I've also actually seen in all these years of service, whatever students you get from whichever part of the country, somebody can talk to them in their language, even a couple of sentences. Their linkage and bondage with that person increases rapidly. Okay. And definitely this makes a way to talk the way, our NEP speaks of, that is trying to get in the local language or mother of, medium of instruction, which could be in Hindi or Kannada, whatever is their local language, mother tongue, that makes sense for it. Yes, English is a linking language. Hindi is a great linking language. No denying that. But definitely coming into our sector, okay, we should have something to do with the local language. Because majority of students that we get in Bangalore nowadays, okay, let's not look at those top colleges which actually gets people from all parts of the country.
Right.
We also get them, but majority of students are the localites. So any action in skill building or development or teaching or asking them to be comfortable, mother tongue definitely holds sway in all these
Absolutely,
things.
I do
That is
agree
really
with
the key.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. So, Dr. Pankaj
Yes.
Choudhary, Principal
Sure.
of
Thank you.
BMS College of Commerce and Management. So, Dr. Choudhary is an experienced academician with a long history of 23 years of working in the education management industry. He has completed his MBA in Finance, Marketing and Economics and PhD in Finance and Financial Management. He has served as an Associate Dean for IIPM, Indian Institute of Planning and Management, as Dean for BMS Educational Trust, and is also serving as Principal of BMS College of Commerce and Management. He has published many research papers in national and international journals. A very warm welcome to you in the program, sir.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for having me over here.
So anything you want to add over here, sir, about your profile, which I have missed?
Yes, so I would like to probably a little bit contradict with Mr. Gopinath, what he added up right now with reference to language being one of them. I understand new education policy talks about it, but then, there are multiple controversies and cases which is being filed up in High Courts to Supreme Court. And even NEP said that they never wanted it to be taught in local languages. What I have an apprehension is that unfortunately, India is a very diverse country wherein every region they speak different languages. Yes, students are comfortable in their own languages, but then if there is a universal language, probably it makes us much more employable. If you look into English for that matter today, I'm not a fan of English, but then I could always tell you that having that language with us today makes India and the people of India employable much better than any other part of the country or the world probably where you don't speak English. For that matter, China is now picking up big time in English, but then we were getting a lot of jobs. We were getting a lot of opportunities in India because of the language that we are knowing. No doubt, no apprehensions for local languages. Yes, I believe I'm in Karnataka for last 18 years. I have tried and I know as much as Kannada, and I would love to learn this language more. I do not say that so with any other language, because I believe where you are, you should definitely know the regional language. But then at this point of time, I guess when it comes to employability and industry, it will become a challenge because India has so many languages all across. So how do you run a corporate company in India if different places they start talking differently? In fact, if you start talking in Assamese, madam talks in Bengali, sir talks in Kannada, and I speak in Hindi, probably will not be able to communicate unless and until we have a universal language. I'm sorry, sir, I'm contradicting you on that, but then this is what I believe in.
Definitely,
And,
this is a discussion. We are just having our own views.
Yeah.
So
No,
as
no,
far
no.
as the
I
job
do
market,
agree with
It's
this. Yes.
Mr. Pankaj, it's not that okay. I don't love English. Or I don't speak Hindi, etc.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
So this
I've
is
lived
just a
in North India for quite
discussion.
some time, and we managed that. But what
Absolutely.
right,
really we've been seeing nowadays is that 60% of our students are localites coming from the sector, not necessarily from the city of Bangalore, but from the rural areas of Bangalore.
exactly.
Okay. Now we get, see, I don't know, mine is purely an MBA college.
So it's
Okay.
not about only Bangalore, sir. I believe
Yes, yes,
this
every place.
problem we are
Wherever
facing
you
in
go,
all the
yes.
two
Yeah,
tier
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
all the small town, we are having
correct.
this
Yes,
problem
yes,
with
yes.
all the small town
Ah.
students, right?
Now, if we have to make these people employable, okay, yes, English and Hindi are great languages. I know I love it, and I've been speaking, I told you, in quite a few of these languages. But until you nurture these people and bring them to the fold, bring them up to the level of English which the corporates can actually take, employability becomes a real issue. Okay, otherwise, it's not feasible. Yes, they have lots of degrees. Take for example, okay, a boy from Tamil Nadu. Okay, we have students coming from Tamil Nadu, from Kerala, from rural Karnataka and other places. Many of these people have got their degrees. Okay, either become a BSc
Engineering for that matter
Yes,
in
yes,
Tamil
yes,
Nadu.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Now, they are very good in their language, in their mark scoring. But if you ask them to make a couple of sentences in English, practically they will struggle. Okay, now what happens is they have got their degree from those states where, English was there, okay, in front of the spoken communication. They manage to understand, but they will never pass an interview of a corporate, okay, because no English.
So classes in management
So
also incorporate other things.
Correct. So I believe,
Yes,
yeah. So let us go with Miss Ankita. Let me introduce her formally also. So we have Miss Ankita Rudra, Head HR, Eurofins Genomics India Private Limited and Eurofins Clinical Diagnostic Bangalore Private Limited. So Miss Ankita is having a rich experience of 15 plus years in learning and development and human resource management. She has completed her Master in Business Administration from Symbiosis Institute of Management in Human Resource. Ankita had started her career in sales, but soon she became a name in the L&D fraternity. She was associated with Tata Teleservices as an integral part of their content development team, sales and retail management. She had been associated with iNurture Limited as a HR business partner and currently working as head HR for Eurofins Genomics India Private Limited and Eurofins Clinical Diagnostic Bangalore Private Limited. So we extend a very welcome to you in the program, Ms. Ankita.
Thank you so much, Sangita. Just small little correction. It's 19 plus years by now. So
okay.
I think,
Okay, great. I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, I just wanted to add on to the discussion. It was very interesting going, and I would say the beautiful part is that both the academicians are talking about the benefit of us, that's the corporate. So that was the most interesting thing. So I would say there are two things which I would like to point out from the conversation so far. To me, when I'm hiring, I think language is just a communication barrier for me, which we have to evoke at any cost. Secondly, to me, when I'm hiring, I'm not looking for someone who would speak or write in some Shakespeare kind of a standard of English. So to me, it is extremely important if the person is able to articulate his thoughts or her thoughts. Doesn't matter whether it's like broken Englishes or mix of English and Hindi, and it turns out to be an English. I'm okay with it as long as he or she can articulate his or her thoughts. And let me tell you, there have been scenarios who write wonderful English but is not able to articulate. Or as Gopinath sir was saying, like someone who understands, but when it comes to speaking is not that fluent. Trust me, nowadays corporates are quite comfortable with the kind of an average output when it's going for an interview. If the person is able to articulate its thoughts, trust me, it's done. Second is in the beginning when you said that the skill gap part may be something which we are talking about. I would slightly I would not say I'm not contradicting, but I would say the preference, there is a paradigm shift in the preference post pandemic more more impactfully. Reason is, like now if I need to give and portionize into knowledge, skill and attitude, we are preferring candidate with a better attitude and a less of a skill and a less in knowledge, but very high. We are game to hire them, right? So skill gap and knowledge gap is something which I personally as a corporate person would say it's not possible 100% to bridge the gap. And when I say this, I'm telling you so I'm being associated with a couple of colleges. I'm being fortunate enough that Gopinath sir have given me an opportunity to also interact with his students a couple of times. And see, it is, you have to understand that there is a set thought process by each and every state, and you cannot just completely revamp and change it. You can modify it, right? Correct. So that I would say that it might not be possible to do that 100% gap bridging of the skill and knowledge, but then if we can do something on the attitude part of the students, I think we can achieve the highest amount of success. Yeah, that's from my side.
Great. Thank you so much, Ankita. So I believe if I extend this conversation, so I believe 50% companies want to hire freshers, right? And but they know the skill level of the freshers also. As you said, they are preferring more attitude, more communication skills and all, how to articulate concepts and all. So that means they are talking about the soft skills also. They are preferring the soft skills. So we can see that top domain skills are like product management, investment banking, content writing, and data analytics, while top soft skills are communication skills, problem solving, analytical thinking, and innovation. So I would like to understand from Pankaj sir, how a college is trying to build these skills within the students.
I would like to add up what Ms. Ankita said right now. It's all about the right attitude. And if in case you have that built in your student, probably everything else you can do. The challenge which the colleges face today is with the current student section which comes into the education, whether it is at degree level or post-graduation level. I have been associated with the Management Institute for 12 years and then now with Management and Degree College as well. So what has happened in past few years I have seen is that the attitude of students have completely gone in a different way, not in terms of wrong, but then yes, technology, the way things have moved in, of course, last 2 years of pandemic has made a lot of difference in them. But then what I believe is that at any given point of time, if a student is able to communicate well, because that's something which I believe in personally, that it is very, very important. It's not about language in which they speak, but at least, because even when I take presentations, I know some of them are lacking in English or something else maybe, but then what I look forward is that how much are you putting in effort, how much are you putting in the right kind of attitude, and the way you are going to speak out from your heart presenting a particular topic. That's something which makes us very, very clear in the thoughts that we have.
How the colleges are contributing to develop that skill? Because I believe along with the soft skills, our domain skills are also important, right?
Exactly.
So how colleges are, what are the steps the colleges are taking to develop those skills among the students?
See, like BMS College, what we do is that every semester, apart from the regular academic activities, we make sure that we provide career or skill enhancements courses to the students in addition to the regular curriculum that is being provided. And I'm very thankful to TeamLease as well, because we have been associated with them for certain programs that we provided to them, whether it is for skill building activities, whether it is for any kind of analyticals programs, digital marketing, various other programs which actually is in demand. And what I think is that if we are able to bring in what industry needs today, so that when the student pass out from the college and we are able to give those kind of skill sets to the students. Of course, we can't give exactly what the industry needs, but we can at least give them the basics of what is needed. Like when we talk about data science, or for that matter, data or analytics, that's something which is there. And in terms of technological courses, maybe artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are certain things which we know that it is going to be the future. So if we are able to invite in the students these sets with the help of the faculties which we have, or an external agency who provides us with these kind of courses, I'm sure it's going to be very, very helpful to the students. And also
we are
for
making them job ready for the market.
Very true. Or entrepreneurs for that matter.
Correct, correct. So Gopinath sir, I would love to have your thoughts also in this regard. So is our education system and institutions inculcating these skills among students?
Yes and no, two ways. The first thing is, see, we are affiliated to a university. Right. The university provides us, the syllabi for all the 4 semesters of MBA. And most importantly, that's exactly the focus even in the projects.
Correct.
Okay, and including the Viva that happens. Now, what we need to do as, the people who administer the college or the management, etc., we need to upgrade the skills based upon the dynamics of how the industry sees it every year. That's where either I nurture or TeamLease has helped me out in this. Now, what I do in my places, I call these officials from either the team leads or my earlier part of the told you I nurture, wherein we talk about and decide what sort of programs are important. We have a cell called the IQAC and the Governing Council. In the IQAC, which is the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, we have experts from various fields from the industry, from the people who manage the higher level parts of the academics. These people come and talk to us, and I myself am well connected with the industry. I'm a cost accountant.
Correct.
Thereby, what happens is those people who are bringing from the industry to make presentations or talk to our students or talk to students on what industry expects them. Now, what industry expects is again a very dynamic thing. It changes year to year. Now, for example, last year when we did our placements, a certain company that came up for placement that spoke in terms of they needed our students to have MIS in their program. And they said, if your students have studied MIS, that helps us. Now, we managed to bring in that thing and we did a program on MIS, thereby helping our students get into placement for those sort of organizations.
So because your organization is basically meeting the needs of the corporate.
Exactly.
And that's how you're placing the students.
Yeah, I'm well connected with the CA Institute and the Cost Accounting Institute. Okay, correct. Most of my friends are from those sectors. Okay, I myself, what I try to do is, I try to keep seeing what sort of job requirements exist in the market. Are we giving something towards that? We can't change the university syllabi, but this part we can do.
Extra
thereby,
certification.
About 120 hours or 150 hours of teaching and career building options available to us with these organizations.
Ankita is on mute. You were.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
yes,
now?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. So after hearing Gopinath sir and Pankaj sir, so I believe as a director, as a principal of this institutions, you are thinking about the students, you are trying to meet the requirements of the industry. But it doesn't happen with each and every colleges, each and every institutions. And there we have found that the CXO level executives, they feel that companies have to invest in training the freshers. So as a HR professional, so I would love to understand from Ms. Ankita that, what are the challenges you face while hiring a fresher?
Okay, industries like us, if you see company that I'm right now, we are to genomics and clinical diagnostic, a very niche segment of bioinformatics and all that. Now, most of the people are not even aware of this job opportunities. And let me tell you, these are very high paid job opportunities. So before this, I was into an industry of metro constructions wherein I was the group HR head there. We faced similar issues there itself. The problem is that whatever currently we are doing in the industry is unfortunately not the part of the syllabus of any of the states in India. Now, as Gopinath sir or Pankaj ji was talking about, I do agree with that these are the initiatives which the colleges are taking. But then what happens is when I go to recruit or when I wanted to develop a pipeline, let me tell you, this manpower pipeline that we are organizations like us, so probably I can give you a holistic aspect of all this testing industry, because Eurofins itself has 900 companies globally. So therein we see that when we are going to hire someone, we do not get the even basic matches. Why we don't get it? And that's the reason this year onwards, we are planning to do a train and hire kind of a mechanism, wherein we are onboarding the colleges. We will do the training from their second year onwards. And then based on that, we will do the final hiring. That's what the pipeline that we are building up. So when you come to challenges, what happens, like they talk when we go for the interview, they share insights that how many training programs they have gone by, AI, ML, they will talk all big things, okay, data analytics. But then when you ask basics, okay, therein they fail. And trust me, when as an HR head I go or my team members go and interview, they know the person sitting opposite to them is a fresher. And we don't expect them to talk any rocket science. what we expect them to talk about is just basics. So my suggestion, or I would say an experience sharing, which I would like to do with your institutes or colleges, is that, it is, don't focus on the number of trainings that they need to go through. Rather focus on the projects, be it a 2 weeks project. But we wanted to see that what is the implementation that they have done.
So hands-on experience you are talking about?
Yes. So for example, like Gopinath sir was talking that one of his clients was expecting the students to know the MIS. So if I'm the HR, I would not much interested to see that how much of a theory of MIS he knows. Rather, I would like to understand that how much of a data sheet he worked on. Maybe it's a small 2 weeks project. Okay, good. But then, and the best part is, or the information is, so I'm part of a forum called HRFI, which is Human Resource Federation of India, wherein you have 70,000 HR heads of India. So therein also we are trying, and we all are talking about only one thing, like all the HRs are now tying up with the colleges and saying, okay, fine. So this is the scale and I'm ready to give you a project. And let's see that how these kids are getting into an implementation with this learning. So the point that I'm trying to make is that it is not or no more about the theoretical understanding of subject. If we focus there, I believe that it will not be an issue to bridge the gap more. I mean, we can manage to do that.
Okay, so basically you are trying to focus more on the hands experience, more on the practical exposure of the student.
That's correct. And the basic understanding of the subject.
Concept, yes. Yeah. So the concept clarity should be there among the students.
Right.
So if I sum up this conversation till now, so I believe employers' challenges are like job fitment, training cost, then time to recruitment and train, and lack of employable skills. Am I correct?
Not really, Sangita. If you see employers' biggest challenge in today's date is not the best match of a candidate.
Okay.
Employers' challenge today's date is the right match for the organization. So there is a fine line difference between a best match and a right match. I might hire someone who is extremely good in academics. Might be the best fitted candidate for my organization. But then maybe he or she is not the right match for the organization culture or to get the adaptation.
So it will be a combination of the domain skills as well as the soft skills.
Yes. So I would say if we only focus on very basic fundamentals, okay, while before the interview, I think our students, it will not be, trust me, I mean, there is no scarcity of job.
That I do agree.
So we have got away with more than 35% of audience. And now the strategy is that if I have a vacancy of 15 lakh or 10 lakh of a position, I'm taking 2 freshers instead of taking 1 experienced candidate. And that has been a standard across the industry now. So, and I'll give you a live example. So if I wanted to hire an EC engineer, okay, and the EC engineer, when we went to a particular X engineering college in Bangalore, the person is talking the definitions of AI and ML and lot many things. When we ask the person that, okay, fine, so tell us that router fits into which OSI layer, which is maybe people get trained in first year. He or she couldn't answer.
Okay.
So only point I'm trying to make is that so we are not expecting some genius always when we are recruiting mass. What we are expecting is some basic understanding wherein it can be built up.
Correct.
I hope I'm able to articulate.
Absolutely, we got it. Absolutely. So for quite some time, we have been talking about outcome-based learning, outcome being defined as making students employable.
Be organization nowadays. See, until you decide upon the final particular course or that particular subject requires and work backwards. Okay. So the aim should be where you should be reaching. Work backwards, and from there, from the first chapter onwards, start to go towards the final aim. If we don't do that, okay, we are just making the student pass that subject in the examination. Our outcomes are the real requirements of the current day. Now, if I'm going to teach something upon taxation, if I just do the mundane syllabus what the university provides, that doesn't serve much. Until I make him eligible to understand what is supposed GST or the way to get along with it.
I believe
and
that
to
is
make
what
him
Ms. Ankita
employable.
was trying to portray.
Exactly. That's what
Yes.
we require. Every possible subject should be dealt with in a purpose wherein we are trying to see what is the industry finally required out of this particular subject. Now, if we don't work backwards, okay, from the final requirement to the thing, we will never reach that particular goal.
Right.
So whether somebody understands it from whichever perspective one takes it, they have to reach that final goal. If we can do that, nothing like it. Every subject should be seen from that particular angle. What is the outcome based of our education system and what we are teaching in a particular organization? Plus, in addition to this, if the industry-institute interaction takes place, they will also say this is what we require out of this particular subject or in this particular field. So we take them out there towards that. That's where industry people come into, and that's our programs, whether it is through come again. Yeah, that is fine. Because I could see a still face of Sangeeta. I don't know whether I actually she could hear
No,
me.
there is some connectivity issues at my end. So can I just take a pause for 2 minutes so that I can just quickly change my Wi-Fi?
Why not? Yes.
Please, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Yes.
In the meanwhile, when Sangeeta ma'am joins in, probably we can talk. So I would like to
why
talk to
not?
Ankita ma'am and ask her a few questions. Ma'am,
Yes.
we have faced through a lot of challenges like this when a lot of corporates comes and tells us like what you said. Sir, forget about anything else. The students lack the very basic of what we are looking forward for. So now, being an academician, and when we teach into the institution, and like Gopinath sir said that we have to follow certain university syllabus, the students have to pass, and there are various other things. We also bring in a lot of skill enhancement courses and all that. But then what you expect is that suppose it's a course wherein an engineering course, say electronics is what you had referred to. So basics of electronics is what you expect the student to do. And what happens is, I would not blame the student at that point of time completely, because yes, of course, they have done a particular course, but then how do you expect the institutions or the college probably to bring in that very basics? I know if I have to blame, I can blame government, the education system and everything possible in this world. But we are teaching them. Ultimately, we are institution who needs to give them knowledge, give them information, bring them up to the industry. Of course, for placing them, we do a lot of certification courses and bring them, get them all kinds of information. But then how do we make sure that they are fundamentally strong with their basics?
Great. So, Sangeeta, sorry, we hijacked your session.
No. That's
Sangeeta,
great. That's great. We are on the same line only.
I
Please
would
go
love
ahead.
to answer this. So, so I will take a clue from your, you were saying something and I'll take it from there. So I'll tell you where the major contradiction happens. So suppose I'm going to recruit a final year student and I see that in the first year, his scores are very high. And when I ask something, which is say a very basic question from his first year syllabus, obviously the kind of educational stress these students go through now, and also there are so many courses that we expect them to finish off. By the time he reaches his third year final, he forget what he has done in his first year. But then I am a recruiter and I see, okay, wow, this guy has got 90% in his first year. And I ask a question and he fails to answer that. So that's completely everything. The entire expectation graphs comes down. Now, this is what a problem everyone is quoting, but issue is that, and I get into a real fight with my corporate colleagues, that every time you go and you tell this to the colleges or the students, it's not about giving or talking or doing a blame gaming. It's about what is that we are doing to bridge this gap or provide a solution. So the solution is, when a recruiter is going to recruit a student, is only expecting two things. One, if he or she can talk about certain basic fundamental understanding, which he or she probably have learned in first year. Second is, or combination of the years. Second is how well the person is able to articulate or communicate. So you were talking about something like if a person is great in communication skill, the person is home, it's done. So what happens, what I would suggest, Dr. Pankaj, that one is that they can probably brush up a little the basics understanding of the course overall. And there is a mechanism like, we can create something which will cover only the basics and he can have a quick learning corner. Second is, imagine that he's been asked something which he don't know. Perfect. How he handled that situation, he or she. The only thing that we expect from these freshers are that if you don't know something, say that I don't know.
Accept it.
And accept it and say that, okay, fine. So you give me a time, a day, I will come back to you with the answer. So therein I feel that, okay, fine, this person has a learning zeal, this person has a confidence level, and he's been honest enough to say, I don't know. That's perfectly fine. But what happens is that they go round and round and round. And
maybe that's the pressure. That's the pressure of getting placed, I believe.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree with that.
There's nothing but a psychological pressure that I need to get placed.
Yes, but then this is something wherein we probably have to tell them that if you say don't know, it is okay, because the recruiter knows that you're a fresher. I'm not hiring a lateral, I'm not doing a lateral or internal hiring or experience hiring. So
we need to show them the 3-idiot interview again and again to them.
And 100%.
Right.
And let me tell you, whenever I got an opportunity, many of the colleges in Bangalore, I have spoken to the students, nothing technical. I have just spoken to them with an understanding that neither I am the last company, nor that, your world ends if you cannot get into a regular job. So if you have the basic communication and confidence, you will definitely get where you desire to go.
So you mean we need to work on that aspects of our students also, Ms. Ankita?
I'll tell you something. I have met students who are brilliant in communication, as in English, who are amazing in studies, who has a perfect knowledge skill attitude, but when it comes to interview, they fail to just articulate just because of the lack of confidence.
Correct.
So I think that is the biggest focus area that the colleges need to work on.
So here I have a small question. Maybe I can ask this question to all of you. Like, Ankita is portraying a very different picture of an HR manager who goes to a college, who understands the students. So is it the common trend in the industry? Maybe Gopinath sir and Pankaj sir has conducted, you're being in this industry for so many years. You must have done so many campus placements for your students. So is it the same with all the HR managers or the hiring managers?
Absolutely, it's the same. Now, I've seen finance students being interviewed by chartered accountants to come out of either KPMG or EY or PwC, okay, any of these organizations. They don't want you to come and do the final accounts. They expect that the student is able to understand the basics of accounting and the simple required computer knowledge to get into a job. They are not asking you any specific questions on, suppose, what is consignment accounts, how do you do that, how do you differentiate between a del credit agent and that agent. No, they are not expecting.
So why there is a gap then? Why there is a gap between demand and supply? Why our students are not getting placed?
Don't mind me if I tell you this, because what I'm trying to tell you is out of experience. What really happens is, a student, when he passes out his degree and comes to an MBA organization to study an MBA course, you know what happens? The gap between the degree and the MBA is very, very high. Next, what's important is the student's understanding of a subject, basic subjects. I'm not talking of very high level subjects, no. At basic subjects understanding at the degree level was only to pass that subject and not to understand that subject per se as it is. Now, when that happens, okay, he can't distinguish between very, very simple basics. Now, what we require to do, or what we do in our college, we have an orientation for almost 10 days to bridge the gap between the degree and the MBA thing. And in that orientation, we need to tell them, this is what the industry expects you to do. Now, for example, if you're talking in terms of international finance, these people will not go and join such jobs. It's only a subject to pass that examination. But if you can understand how finance runs, what is it that the basics of finance is to be understood? How should a student react to a certain situation? And what sort of common skills he requires to be selected in a job? All the training the company will do. But if it doesn't have the basics, you can't put him into anything. That's exactly what I've been talking. And I think I've been successful in that, even in our placement, because of this particular thing. Otherwise, okay, you may be having a very, very high percentage. He doesn't know the basics. He knows how to pass an examination, but can't distinguish between very simple two sets of requirements to analyze why a certain thing is like this, why certain things went the other way around. He will not succeed.
So Dr. Pankaj, I would love to understand from you, do you think some such certification courses, like which you both have mentioned, that, TeamLease, that you people are thankful to TeamLease, and we have conducted so many certification programs for your organizations. So Pankaj sir, I would love to understand from you, do you think such professional certification courses can help solving this problem of employability?
100%.
In some extent.
Yes, I would rather say yes, 100%, because to be very frank, when I talk about the education system, and unfortunately a part of it, but then I could not, as I said, I cannot blame it. But then whatever set course and syllabus is there, it's not sufficient enough for any student to become industry ready. And I would like to probably start off where Ankita ma'am had left over. While she said she was looking out for basic information and basic knowledge of the student. Even Gopinath sir said the same, where how he does a few things wherein probably the outcome-based education takes forward the students into industry. We have been talking about outcome-based education for last more than a decade or so. But then the best example, I have done half CA while I was doing my degree, and even Gopinath sir is a cost accountant. Trust me, no better example than a chartered accountant of outcome-based education. You meet a chartered accountant whether he is at intermediate or final level, any level, he does not forget his basics. He does not. He has hands-on experience, and that's the only course in which you get trained while you are pursuing that particular course. I have a lot of respect and name for that. And unfortunately, we do not have a proper school or a college for that. It is purely based on self-study. Of course, there are coaching institutes now that is being providing coaching for that. But the best example probably for OBE would be a CA program. And if we are able to invite something like that into all other courses, probably what Ankita ma'am faces today or what we talk about OBE today will be taken care of. Now, we cannot do that because there are certain limitation challenges and all that, which we can't handle. But yes, the best example for doing such things are bringing in the certification courses, bringing in the short-term courses, which you have leverage to introduce into your curriculum. And like you said, TeamLease is there, or iNurture is there, various other institutions which provide this kind of certification courses. Make sure that student picks up the subject in which they are interested into.
Yeah, the right one.
Right kind of choice. Suppose a candidate wants to make his career or is inclined more towards digital marketing, at least he understands, although we have digital marketing in our course, but the objective there for student is to just clear exams. But these certification courses, what happens, it is more of a hands-on courses. It is something which brings the students very close to what industry is needing. They do practicals, they do live or dummy exam projects, which helps them understand how it actually works. And that's where probably the corporates and the HRs probably would like to pick them up if they have some basic information on what exactly an SEO is or SEM is or something like that. So definitely it helps us out.
Gopinath sir?
Yeah.
I would like to understand your perspective also in this.
Absolutely. As Mr. Pankaj was mentioning, see, the best advantage of a chartered accountant's course was the articles of 3 years that they did. Their understanding right from bookkeeping onwards up to finalization of accounts, starting of taxes, maybe from salary onwards or house property, other things, right up to the company finalization. This is where hands-on experience comes in. So we need to see what sort of jobs are available for our students, what sort of jobs can they expect in the market. For that, if we can give programs of certification of maybe 10 days, 15 days, or maybe 40 hours program that we do with TeamLease
courses.
Okay,
Right.
those things help out. In addition, what I try to do, see, I do 4 programs for 4 different semesters with TeamLease. In addition, I do small certifications getting industry trained for a 6-hour or an 8-hour talk in my college. 2 such programs I do per semester. Thereby, a student, when he passes out, he has 8 certificates plus 4 from TeamLease plus 2 internships that we actually expect TeamLease to provide to us. And most importantly, placement that happens in our campus. And the best thing that happened last time was TeamLease coming back to us to say what our students should have to get into the industry for a particular sector. We try to get training for that and expecting that they will come back to us for placement activity again this year. So when a student passes out, he has 8 plus 4 plus 3. That means 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 5, 15 sort of programs and certifications. Thereby, they should be able to get placed. That's exactly what a college requires in the modern days time. Otherwise, a student will definitely get an MBA. All the students who study with us will definitely get 100% their MBA, and 90% of them will be with the first class. That's not the problem. The problem is how well TeamLease people take through these students, teach them basics of mathematics, communication skills, analytics, IFRS, okay? And most importantly, the resume writing, resume building, all these sorts of activities that we put through 3rd semester onwards up to the 4th semester ending, wherein students are told how to dress, how to walk, what is presentation, how do you present, basic communication skills. Thereby what happens? He is fit enough to stand up for an interview, and thereby he has the confidence to come up with it. Okay, not everybody will succeed, but if even 70% people can do that, I think we have done a fantastic job. Now let's understand what I started my program with when we started the initial set of talk with 60% of our students coming from the rural background. if 70% of them could be made fit enough for the industry to be picked up and to get a job, I think we have done a great job.
Great, absolutely.
See,
so that
when
improved
I
their
had my
efficiency.
schooling, I came through central schools. Our English, our Hindi was superb. So we could never fail. And for,
Right.
for to be a good enough, our languages were also very fine. That was, that's how we learned our programs. But when we see the current phase students, there's a huge gap.
There is
That
a huge
gap has to be bridged. And that's where TeamLease comes into picture. And such people who come up with our IQAC for our governing council and the industry institute interaction session that we have. That's where, that's how we need to take up our programs. And the students have been very, very happy with it.
with this.
Sir, I
Great.
guess you missed out one more point, which is inviting Ankita ma'am and all other corporates and HRs who come and speak to a student,
Mr. Pankaj,
share their
just
live
to add,
experience, which makes
absolutely,
them
you are very right. You know
Inviting
what we have
plus
done?
one
a
year.
student
I
needs to
had
do.
called Ankita to come for a mock interview for our student. And this fantastic lady came for 2 days and interviewed 45 of the 48 students who wanted to get placed. And
So I
this is
believe
not that, and she was so damn good in speaking those things, communicating to students. They came up with confidence, and believe it, 37 of them of the 45 got placed. This was something superb.
that's superb.
Yeah, honestly, she did a
So
great
I
job.
believe that's a collaboration between the organization and the
Exactly. This is
institution.
actually industry
And
institute interaction.
Miss Ankita is helping us to
Yeah.
bridge that gap
Sure,
of
sure,
demand
sure.
and supply.
Anytime. So, Sangeeta, I would like to say something here. So you asked this question to Gopinath sir and Pankaj ji that why the students are not getting placed. So I would say there are 3 basic reasons that I see. The first reason is awareness. So they have a set of job roles only that they got to hear.
Absolutely. That's, I believe, students' challenge.
There are multiple job roles which is now flooding into the industry, which they are not even aware of. Okay. The second thing, 2 things never happens if you're in your comfort zone. One is learning curve and another is success. If you really wanted to have a successful career and wanted to have a proper learning curve, you have to come out of your comfort zone. Nowadays, the kids are very much into their comfort zone. Let me be very upfront and is there. And third thing which I believe is also another issue, and herein I would like to quote Gopinath sir, because I believe in one of our conversation he said that he's not allowing his students to do that. That is, nowadays, so I'll tell you about myself. I started my career with sales. I was in Eurofins. So we walked down to the corporates to get job. Now what happening is they have multiple companies, thanks to all our great academicians, because they are working so much hard to get these people, or the placement officers are putting so much of an effort to, get one company onboarded or coming into the institutions. They have so many options, so they choose and pick. Acha, here in the salary is 5,000 less. So, I believe when a fresher is opting for a job, nowadays, I would say not all, but 70% of them evaluate the job based on the brand and the salary.
Yes,
Rather,
absolutely.
when a fresher take up a job, he or she should only see the learning opportunity and job role, nothing else. So if we can inculcate this particular thought into the students, I'm telling you, there will be a turnaround change. There are colleges wherein I go and the student says, ma'am, we can go into any profile, will not get into sales.
Absolutely.
And
We face this.
Is the very basic of all the job role. Even today in HR, I sell the candidature profiles to my business. So, like everybody in the industry is selling something or the other.
Exactly.
So I think
in our personal life also, I believe we are selling every day. Every notion we need to sell.
So I have this saying, efficient and effective sale. So if a wife in the month end asks for additional 5,000, is communication made? But then the effectivity of the sales will only come once you receive that 5,000 extra.
5,000 extra. Yes.
So that's how it is.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Okay. See, what's really been happening is, it wasn't there about 20 years back. It started to happen nowadays. Until our faculty keep on upgrading their skills, the students' level of knowledge sometimes is many times higher than the faculty who teaches. Faculty's knowledge is limited to the 3-4 textbooks that he studied. He comes and blah, 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 that into the classroom, gets
Correct.
the syllabus done, has 100% results, and says, look, I've done very well.
Here I would like to add, sir.
Huh?
Here I would like to add why it happens, because nowadays our kids are very much they have this digital media, the social media. They are too much exposed towards that. They have knowledge of each and every vertical. They have knowledge of each and everything. So sometimes I believe companies can look into those skills also, and they can help them to develop those skills also.
Absolutely.
So they are more knowledgeable nowadays.
Yeah.
Sometimes then they're like, because I have seen whatever the topic or discussion you do with them, they will quickly go to Google, they will quickly go to YouTube, and they will find out the, all the concepts they will find out, and they will quickly judge you whether you are right or wrong.
But you know what, Ankita? It has both pros and cons.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It leads and misleads both.
Half knowledge is always dangerous.
Yes. And rather, you know why today's date the industry is preferring a fresher over a 5-6 years experienced person? Because they are saying that learning is important, but unlearning today's date is more important.
Absolutely.
So it is very difficult for us to get a vessel which is full of, I would say, not required knowledge and empty it and then again train it back. Rather, you take a empty vessel and train it and fill it. Right. So I think this is also one aspect which definitely we would like to address. And I believe Gopinath sir have pointed something which is very important. You know, the biggest influencer after the people at home for the students are the faculties. So like there are corporate connect programs which is happening for the students. I would say if colleges can also do something, and trust me, corporates would be love to do that, wherein we can educate or upgrade the faculties in terms of what is that is required, or give them an understanding about the new job roles.
Absolutely. Upskilling of the faculties also is very important.
Very important. What I would try to say is, once they join a job and they are assured that their bread is earned and they can teach a class and get 100% result, they stop learning. If faculty stops learning, that is the end of it. Now, don't mind me saying this. Every time there is a new rule that comes up, new act is amended or brought into picture, I go back to my taxation. Okay, now insolvency and bankruptcy code came up. I did a program, learned about that, went back and then called experts in that field to talk to our students. If we don't keep doing that, students actually expect our people to have knowledge of those things and talk, not just the mundane syllabus that's available. Okay, if our faculty don't start to keep themselves upgraded, understand what is the real requirement, they will just become nothing before students. Now, students may not know the subject, but they understand these other things very well. They are masters in that field. We should not fail in that. Okay, so confidence, English language, other skills, upgrading our own skills. Now, the simplest thing, during the pandemic, most of us who never had done a program on Zoom or WebEx or any of the Google Meet, every school teacher learned and managed to have online classes. This was never done earlier.
Never done. So it's like
similarly,
necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes. When I go to interview our faculty in various colleges for jobs, of either assistant professor, associate professor, etc., what I try to do is, have you people ever seen books of accounts of a company? No. Have you filed your own tax returns? No. Who does your thing? Their tax returns are filed by a chartered accountant who they pay some money and get it done. If we ourselves don't file our tax returns, we don't look at the books of account. Now, I was an auditor. Okay, I did my ICW after having joined the teaching job. For 7 to 10 years, I was practicing. I've done a lot of project work, bank financing or project details of companies, okay, getting their data uploaded. What happens is we learn the practicals of accounts. If we haven't done that, just teaching something in a classroom where you haven't seen the forms yourself,
so
you don't learn anything.
We need the practical knowledge also at the same time.
Now, for example, there's a subject in BCom called as auditing. I could go to an auditing class without a textbook in hand, and I'll just say, okay, let's start cash book watching today. Or, okay, evaluation of financial assets of a company. No, we know how you go about it because you have practiced that thing.
Absolutely.
You can't read textbook and go and speak that in the classroom.
Absolutely. So the practical knowledge is also
very important.
And like, if I just want to sum up the discussion for today's panel discussion, so it is that the collaboration between the organization and institution is very, very important. We should develop our students as per the industry needs also, and with a lot of practical and hands-on experiences. So Pankaj sir, would you like to add few lines?
Yes, of course. What happens is, I would like to tell is that adding up to the points what Gopinath sir and even Ankita ma'am was talking about, learning is definitely something which we need to keep doing. Our faculties needs to be updated, and they need to learn, unlearn, and again relearn. And that is something which we'll have to completely do. And then we also need to have certain additional things, like you cannot become an expert, something which is very much open to the industry, or they are looking forward for something for an institution to bring up. There are certification courses. There are courses which are available in the market, wherein you all could help us out, say TeamLease or any other institution, to make sure that our student gets first-hand experience on that. And of course, no shortcut to giving the best to the students when it comes to imparting them knowledge and education. So what I tell my teachers also over here is that more than what you teach them from the books, give them practical approach of teaching, show them some videos, bring across some projects, give them some case studies, discussions and all that. Make your class more interactive so that they can enjoy the class rather than just mug up something and go for
engaging the students.
Right.
Correct. Okay, great. So I believe it's a wonderful session. It's a wonderful talking to all of you. So on behalf of TeamLease EdTech, I would love to thank you all for your valuable time. And I would be looking forward for more such enriching sessions where we can get more and more inputs, how we can make India employable, which is the vision statement of TeamLease EdTech.